Hey my people, this is Major, and thank you for tuning to Major TV. Let's talk. I want to talk about Terence brother Crawford, WBO welterweight champion, held titles at 135, unified 140. Soon he turned to 147 weight class of welterweight, beat Jeff Horn to get the WBO belt. He has been ranked at number one pound for pound, gyrating with Lomachenko and now Canelo Alvarez. And what bothers me the most about why I'm making this video is because I think it's so unfair to watch black boxing media on YouTube do what they're doing with the Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence, IBF, WBC title holders. How the black boxing media is playing with this and putting a spin to it about negotiation that Terence Crawford should take 40% or lesser of the negotiation. I feel like this is so wrong. This is why, as a people, we don't see the little subtle things we do that we try to justify. I watch how black fighters held at such a high standard while white fighters get an excuse for ducking or what have you. And I watch some of these black boxing media platforms go after the media behind it. For some apparent reason with this Crawford versus Errol Spence is so much of BS. Even after the man stopped, nobody will ever stop Showtime Sean Paul. He stopped him. Whether it's controversial, whether his dad Kenny should or shouldn't throw the towel in, that's besides the point. I'm just bothered by, I'm talking about, there's like a few channels on Cole echoing the same thing about the 60-40, 70-30, 65-35, 55-45, Spence. There's no way in the history of boxing no one fighter in the world should get the lower bid. And then they have a problem with the man demanding 50-50. And they want to compare resumes and what have you. It's a bunch of bull crap. I said this man was ducking. I mean, when this man was fighting at 135, there was killers. And he was by far the best person at 135. You look at 140. When he fought Victor Postol, he was feared by a lot of people. Danny Garcia gave him set aside money to fight him. When he fought the African and beat him in such a grand fashion, how he got all them belts in 140, people were just was surprised. He didn't want the welterweight because clearly he was the best fighter. And some of the fights he fought, most fights he fought was undefeated and he beat. Still messed the man's resume. Then go to 147, beat Jeff Horn. After Jeff Horn handled Manny Pacquiao. Whether you believe he won or not, he convinced the judge to rule in favor even though he was home. But still, the way he handled Manny Pacquiao, how Jeff Horn handled Manny Pacquiao, and then when Crawford got to Jeff Horn, people was talking all that noise, even Errol Spence. Well, you gotta see, because Jeff Horn is big and rugged, whatever. Boy, Crawford handled that lightweight. He went through the welterweight division. I mean, he did his thing. At the few fights or what fights he had, and then the fight everybody. And the funny part about it, man, was trying to this how I know our people in black media, boxing particularly, how messed up we are, is the fact that a lot of these same people, channels that's been talking about, he got to fight Sean Porter. No, he wanted to fight. Say, damn, I got to fight the loser of Spence and Porter. I won't fight Spence. He's still been in Fort Porter and Stockton. Spence didn't do that. He went through Carol Brooks, not on the jab, and people constantly throwing different things at him. You know, I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? This man went on a rant. This man don't really get loose like he went on a rant messing with Carol Spence, call him all kinds of names, playing or whatever. But it was serious. People saying, well, you gotta send a contract. Well, stop the BS, man. It works both ways. If I'm calling you out, let's sit down and talk. Let's get this over with. I don't understand. Like, I've been watching these black boxing channels for so long, and some of them be on perm, some of them just be, because they get cool with these fighters. Like, a lot of them are cool. They like Aerosmith. They met him. They ain't trying on the bad side, and don't want him from, stop them from not giving interviews and whatever. But they mad because Crawford shit a lot of them down because they were talking noise about the man. You want to talk noise about me and they want to pull him me for interview? He did right to do what he did to a lot of these guys that's misrepresenting his name or throwing short in his name. And then on top of it, they're going to say, well, they try to use Bob Arum talking about how he treat black fighters and what have you. And I've seen what he did, how he promoted Lomachenko, you know, Tyson Fury. It's obvious, but there's racism all in boxing. It's racism all, but they got that Tyson, PBC, and Tyrant got Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fight going happening. But now the brother ain't under nothing. What's the excuse now? And I see people actually engaging this nonsense with these fans talking about the split. It can't be a 50-50 split. If I was Crawford, I hope he catch this audio. Man, you better not take no 60-40 or 55-45. You don't let no media, black, white, whomever, no fan dictate the negotiation. That's not fair. He putting the hard work everybody else put in. Okay, you want to talk about comparing resumes? There's none of the fighters that Errol Spence have fought and beat can compare to make a fight with Terence Crawford. That's some money on top of money. And you think Crawford don't see that? But no, you have these people in media, black people, that's just trying to push the narrative. I can see white people doing it, but I'm seeing black people, that's what's shocking me. And I'm seeing people clearly are on Spence's side the way they're talking. I only see a few people really talking about Crawford. You know, now they're trying to throw Bruce Ennis at Crawford after they was looking at Crawford and Bruce Ennis boxing Errol Spence. He one of the Ugas, and people keep underestimating Ugas. People really underestimate him, but if he's shocked, you don't be surprised. I feel like this whole thing is just jinxed how black media, black boxing media, is all involved with this. I'm just shocked. I mean, deciding how the split should go, breaking down resumes. This man, Terence Crawford, fought the people that was in front of him. You feel me? So, these Olympians he beat. These undefeated fighters he beat. Fighters at that time was considered feared by the boxing world in division at 135, 140. It's been excuse after excuse after excuse. It's a shame that there's so much racism in boxing, and I watch some of these same platforms point out the racism, show discrimination against black fighters, but still you discriminate against, and I don't want to use the word discriminate, but you clearly bias against Crawford with Errol Spence, suggesting that Crawford should take the lesser of the negotiation. I dare you, he's the number one fighter in the world. He proved that. I don't care what they say about Canelo. Yeah, his resume is pretty decent, but he's doing a lot of ducking. A lot of ducking. And we know that. And then don't forget about the PEDs he got caught up with. It's like we just want to forget it. You don't hear white people talk about it, but you hear black people talking about it. You hear black commentators mention it. But I don't even see the comparison with them two in reference to what Terence Crawford doing. And Terence Crawford is calling Spence out. I'm hearing somebody say, well, he need to make sure this, he need to make sure. Make sure what? Man, if I tell you I won't fight you, man, you gotta make sure Bob. Man, ain't no Bob around me. He don't got Bob. It's just him. Man to man, mano mano. Man, I won't fight you. You just tell out your butt, let's fight. Man, it's a joke, right? I see a lot of YouTube boxers. You know, I call these guys YouTube boxers. They talk so much boxing, but don't even want to be real about the boxers. These people risking their life. That man earned that #1 spot. And I'm just surprised that people are just trying to go after this man's resume. At one time, people was actually rotting with him, talking highly of him. This man went to 147, 2-fight Spence. And speaking of Spence, give him all kind of runaround. And then we allow Spence and PBC create on the other side of the street. Because of the problem with Top Rank not wanting to work with PBC with certain fights or whatever. You're going to hold that against Crawford and say, you're on the wrong side of the street. We allow somebody to create that narrative. And black boxing media ran with it. I'm appalled. I'm just surprised. And I don't understand why. Because I'm a truck driver, so when I'm listening to certain, I just catch the boxing and all that a lot. And I have to be surprised how these brothers give analysis and blah, blah, and all that. And I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? I see some of the views and what have you. And I see the clear freaking bias. And to me, from me looking outside in, the objectivity is hardly there most of the time when these platforms favor certain boxers. And clearly, a lot of these platforms are leaning towards Spence and the negotiation and all that. They have a very few of them, like one name that's really just trying to hold on with it. Shout out to Man Boxing, Man Boxing. I like the way I give his commentary, especially about the Crawford Spence situation. Shout out to Dante Boxing. I be hearing a lot of things you've been saying. But a lot of them that I'm not going to call out that I've been listening for years, it's been clearly biased. Especially some that live in the state of Texas, you know what I'm saying? That they're going to ride with Spence regardless. And I don't have no problem with that. But when you get in the negotiation, then you talk with the fans and try to influence the negotiation, try to make this man out. If I was Terence Crawford, and I hope he hears this audio again, look, don't do that. And I know he won't, but it's not cool for people to suggest he should do a 50-50. I mean, he should do a 60-40, or 65-35, or 55-45. Errol Spence do not hold the card in this position. He don't hold that winning card like people think. Like Roy Jones recently said, he has to beat Crawford to be the best, and people forget that. Because at 147, yeah, he proven that he's a top dog. But after what Crawford came and did at 147 on his turf, came to his turf, he's supposed to be a little guy, so-called. Errol said he was small, he's smaller guys. He's not really a full 147. This brother showed time and time again. You put him in front of me, I'm knocking him down. I'm knocking him down like bowling pins. So you see what he did with Jeff Horn, Jose Benavidez, Sean with Cal Brook, Sean Porter. You know what I'm saying? Come on, all these knockouts, man. I mean, all these stoppage. I mean, what's going on? What are we listening to? What are we watching? What are we hearing? What are we trying to believe? I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna make a bold prediction. If the fans, and especially the blacks boxing media, these black boxing YouTube platforms keep talking that nonsense about the purse bid or what have you, or negotiation, and how Terence Crawford should get the 40, take 40% or what have you, there won't be no fight. Because believe it or not, the brother listen to all of us speak. Everybody that's talking about this. And that's why he don't rock with a lot of brothers that's dealing with this blocking me. I didn't listen to brothers just condemn this brother. I see the favoritism. I see the clicks and all that. And how one says something, damn, they go down like a domino effect where everybody's saying the same thing. Crawford do not need him. He need Crawford. Remember, Crawford came from 135 to 140 to 147. Spence already been at 147. He go to 150, 154. I'm cool with that. I am cool with that because you know why? He called Errol Spence out. Byron could make that fight every year. Byron had to give him $1 million or so. We know about the clause. It's no difference. So he had the pressure on Byron. Byron couldn't get it done. Now the brother don't even have Byron as a promoter, and he's calling Spence out more aggressive than he ever had. He didn't show how Spence walked off, showing that face after the fight was started with Sean Paul and whatever. And he called Spence out there and was surprised that he led there and came to fight after he said he would never see him fight. But no, it's the black boxing media that's pushing this phony, fake narrative that this brother should take lesson negotiation. It's sad. We know the racism in boxing. We know the nonsense that black people go through in boxing. We see how they play the game with Mayweather. We see how they play the game with Andre Ward. We see how they play the game with Terence Crawford. But still, we allow this nonsense to go on our watch. And as black boxing media with platforms that can correct the narrative, because it's all supposed to be correcting the narrative of being new media or getting the record straight, but there's two black men that's at they are basically, this is the biggest fight I see right now. Right now, the biggest fight. You see, you had Tyson and Deontay Wilder fight. It's the biggest fight. A lot of money out there. Both of them prove that they hard hitters. Spencer beast, Terence Crawford beast. Let's get the job done. But no, you know why we're going to have these problems? Because we have too many people got something to say as opposed to just being fair. Comparing resumes and all this other stuff. All right, just for the fans, just for being boxing media, cool. But sometimes it get a bit messy. Sometimes it get a bit controversial. And then sometimes I think it's disrespectful because that was in front of this brother time when they were fighting. And at the same time, is this brother knocking people out regardless? And then get the Sean Paul and knock him out? What more you gonna say right now? They're saying he the number one welterweight, but guess what? That number one welterweight gotta get less because they're looking at the pay-per-view buy, his pay-per-view buys. They're looking at they're looking at all this other stuff. But you gotta realize one thing, that when you compare all them fighters that Errol Spence fought, even up into the fight that's been approved for him, and who was the fight? Errol Spence. None of the fights will be big as Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. None of them gonna be bigger. So look, this is Major TV. I know y'all never heard me talk about boxing, but I had to go there. You know what I'm saying? I'm black media for real. I cover everything, and this is an issue I think need to be talked about. Let me know what y'all think, and I don't know if y'all into boxing like I am and check things out, but I've been noticing a lot of black boxing channels really just trying to change the whole scope of what's going on with these two fighters. They're messing with the money. They got too much to say, and they engaging the fans with the foolishness. Crawford knows nobody nothing. That brother come from this big brother came from 135, went to 3 weight classes to come up to fight the best fighter at 147, which we already know was Errol Spence Jr. But after what happened with this brother beating Sean Porter, the way he did, and how he been running through fighters, he's considered pound for pound best fighter in the world. And now people starting to say number one welterweight in the division. There's nowhere in hell this brother should receive 40% of the purse, 35%, 45%. I'm totally against it. I don't agree with it, and it's just sad to watch our own people try to influence the negotiations and try to get this brother just take the fight. Nah, why it can't be 50-50? I don't care if he got 50 belts. He'll never fight a Terence Crawford, and Terence Crawford would never fight somebody like Errol Spence. Opportunity is not. If you don't want to be fair in this negotiation, and people steady want to be messy talking about it, have your way. But when the fight don't happen, blame yourself. Because the politics in boxing, the racism in boxing, outbidding yourself in boxing, playing mind games, all that nothing but distractions. All that nothing but great fights being missed. Look what happened with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Riddick Bowe and then Lewis. Just look at these fights. Like they're having some of the greatest moments of really proving the world who's the best and then giving the people what they want, but it's not happening. And I blame largely the fighters. I'm hearing what Bud is saying, what Spence saying. That's my point. So I'm not trying to hear all that. Because when they fight, I will be there. Trust me, I will be there. And I will cover it. Until then, it's just a lot of talk. And it's sad because at this point, both these brothers should be ready to get in the ring. Get over it. They get older. New fighters like Boots Ennis is coming up. And everybody, Virgil Tees and stuff like that. And everybody are pushing for these young fighters to fight the old fighters. It don't just work like that. It just don't, you know. And I don't understand. Like, it's just so much of dictating, so much of opinion, so much of stuff. I feel like just messing the whole boxing game up. I know these guys are working hard to get their bag, but you can't get it like that. You got to be fair, especially in this arena where we know we're dealing with racism and we know we're dealing with a lot of cutthroat stuff going on with these promoters and whatnot. So, hey, I just wanted to share that with the people. Y'all know what I say. Y'all stay focused, stay on cool, and just be black. Peace.